Live. Going live. You're live. Hello everyone. I'm Santiago and welcome to another episode of Spider-Man on PC. My favorite superhero of all time. That's why I'm doing live streams today on it. I need to release on PC, so let's try it on the 3060 now. How are you guys doing? Welcome. What up? So I tested this on more budget GPUs, mostly the RTX 3050, 1650 Super and 1050 Ti. And I'm continuing that trend, testing the 3060 now. And after that I'm doing a whole lot more GPUs that I have. Hey Team Perspectiva, how's it going? Good seeing you. Long time no see. So the settings that I'm using right now is the highest settings on 1080p without ray tracing. Just to start, we're going to try no ray tracing, but after that, in the end, we're doing all that stuff, all that good stuff. So as you can see, right now we're over 60, just fine. But we dropped below 100 FPS. Well, that's because we are CPU bound. It's very hard to get 100 FPS consistently. As you can see, the GPU is not maxed out. So yeah, we're doing higher resolutions, of course. So let's go up this rooftop. As you can see, looking at the sky, 100 FPS. So what I'm going to do now, 1080p is okay, as you can probably notice. Going great, the stream is exactly what I needed. Okay, hope you enjoy. So what settings am I using? Well, as I said before, highest settings, except in ray tracing, that's coming later. These settings only go to high for some reason. So yeah. And what I wanted to try is the other anti-aliasing technique, DLAA, which is deep learning anti-aliasing. It uses the technique used by DLSS, but to increase the pixel count instead of lowering it. So it should fill in the gaps. So yeah. Is CPU reliable for buying used graphics cards? It depends, check the seller's rating. But I didn't have any problems so far within the past. So what we're enabling is deep learning anti-aliasing. So less shimmering using the DLSS technique, but to increase the resolution. And now the game looks super sharp. Osuna, uso MSI Afterburner. So this increases the GPU usage, but in this case we're so over the I mean, the GPU is not being fully utilized, so we're okay. DLAA makes the game look incredible on 1080p, at least in my opinion. Gets rid of all the shimmering, which is great. So as you can see, the 3060 1080p is fine. I'm going to try 1440p now. So yeah, 1080p was just a quick look because we know it's going to run fine. Even runs fine on a 1650 Super. So let's do 1440p. Edison, el problema ahí es que acá la GPU no estaba al 100%. En la 3050 sí. Okay, so 1440p now. Let's do 1440. And let's disable DLAA, at least for now. Let's see what happens. So again, highest settings, 1440p now. And we're not using DLAA at the moment, but probably will in a few moments. So 1440p, everything on very high. So that's good. So let's get back into the game. And as you can see, still a little bit of GPU usage to spare, but we are way over 60. And the VRAM usage is close to 8 gigabytes. So good thing we have 12 on the 3060. What's your CPU? It's an i5-10400F. 6 cores, 12 threads. If you have a more modern CPU, maybe the 12th gen i5s or one of the Ryzen CPUs, one of the 5600X or a 5800 3D, you probably can get more frames. I can't wait to try it on my streaming PC. it has this 3060 and 5900X. Probably not going to take advantage of all those cores, but the single-threaded performance should do. I'm thinking about Geo. We're coming on. How's it going, man? Long time no see. Guy with the best name. Hey, Ellie Williams. How's it going? Good to see you too, man. Welcome back. So yeah, as you can notice, 1440p, still okay on the highest settings. Let's try DLAA. And to put it into perspective, let's do a quick comparison. That will help me to see the difference as well. Maybe it's not a huge difference, visually speaking, of course. Yeah, we're doing ray tracing. Be patient. I want to try 4K first. So allow me one moment. We're going to record a little bit of footage just to do a quick comparison. Won't take long. Okay. So I start recording this quick footage. Won't take long. 10 seconds I need. So this is 1440p on the highest settings without DLAA. This is TAA. Okay, there we go, my 10 seconds. And then I enable DLAA, which should look better. We'll see. Start recording. Okay, I give it 10 more seconds and we do the quick comparison. 8, 9, 10. Okay. Waiting for The Last of Us Part 1 3060 benchmark. That's coming soon. Hey, Syed Hassan Ali. What up? Don't forget to drink water. I did just before starting, but thank you, man. I appreciate that. So, okay, let's do that quick comparison between TAA and DLAA, Deep Learning Anti-Aliasing. So for that, I'm going to open my comparison tool, which I don't remember where it was. Oh, here you are. It's called iCat. It's an Nvidia application they did for pixel peepers such as ourselves. So as you can see there, I can add videos. In this case, oh man, it's so confusing. This. Okay, there we go. So the one on the right would be TAA, and the one on the left is DLAA. I need labels. So this is TAA, and the other one is DLAA. So, okay. DLAA. Let's see which one looks better. Should be DLAA, but I don't know. Let's find out. So I go full screen and side by side. Okay. Yeah, I can notice that. As you can see, guys, when using TAA, I'm getting that shimmering effect. Well, that's because it's native resolution with TAA. This one at the left, I don't know why this doesn't start over, has the how to say this, the DLSS effect thing. So the same technology used to lower the resolution and upgrade it to your native resolution with DLSS is being used, but to get a higher resolution. That's why you don't see any shimmering with DLAA. It looks incredible. I mean, the difference is very noticeable. I mean, look at how much noise there is in the other image. That's crazy. Although I'm pixel peeping a little bit too much. Yeah, there is no dancing pixels. I'm not sure why it doesn't allow me to replay this. There we go. Dancing pixels at the right. That's crazy. It's really obvious when you see it side by side. Anyway. That was the comparison. DLAA looks incredible. Wow. Mind blown. So my advice would be, if you can use DLAA, use it. Looks great. You get a little performance hit, but yeah, 1440p highest settings with DLAA, I think is the way to go. I'm here for helping you about answering GPU and benchmarks. Well, thank you, Poya Cordiepor. Sorry if I messed up your name. So yes, you can see it looks great like this. Great addition. I wish more games on PC had that. Looks pretty good. No shimmering anywhere. I wonder how AMD can answer to DLAA. Maybe they can do something with FSR 2.0. I think. The thing is, the edges in the distance look so clean. It's kinda nuts. Bueno, saludos Sebastián Zambrano. Buen nombre. Hi, Nicola FN, FSAA. Fidelity effects, super anti-aliasing. Probably something like that already exists. But I'm pretty surprised that it took that long for one game to use this technology. Because it looks great. Okay. It's time for 4K now. Moment of truth. Can we do 4K with decent settings without DLSS at 60 FPS? Also guys, for the people that missed the RX 570, the 750 Ti, I have a surprise for you. I'm going to be doing 3 more live streams today, very short, don't worry. And I'm going to be checking out those cards.
Gotta get to work.
Okay.
Can't let Doc down.
Wow, yeah, looks incredible. No shimmering anywhere. Wow. Okay. But as you can see, the most demanding thing appears to be looking at the entire city from this building. Let's see if I disable DLAA, what happens. Okay, I get a few extra frames. Yeah, I can see that. Let's try 4K. I'm guessing that at 4K I'm going to need to lower those settings, but still. How many cards do you have now? I have almost the same as before. The thing is, my first live stream is usually 4 cards. Now it's 3 because the live streams were way too long. Okay, this is now 4K. Very high settings. Ray tracing off. And yeah, TAA. Let's see the frame rate. Looking into the distance, wow, it looks so sharp now. That's kind of nuts. So as I was saying, 42 FPS. Well, looking into the distance, let's see once we start moving around. Instead of looking into the distance, we just swing around. And there's no audio? Or is it just me? Yeah, there's no audio. Sorry about that, guys. There was no in-game audio for some reason. HPAL Plus is broken in this game. Yeah, SSAO looks a lot better. I agree. Yeah, I saw that. HPAO Plus is missing some of the darkening effect. I agree. Yeah, I should use that. It uses less resources even, so. But as you can see, with very high settings, of course at 4K, we're not getting 60s. So let's do some tweaks. We gotta restart the game, unfortunately, but we're getting there. So, first of all, put everything on high, excepting the textures. The textures should be on very high. We have 12 gigabytes, so that's fine. Then, on the shadows, keep them on high, SSAO. Level of detail, the same. Then the weather particle quality, put that on medium. That's super important. I don't know why, but this kills performance. It's probably volumetric clouds or something like that. Then depth of field is mostly for cinematics. So yeah, I don't know. bloom, sure, why not? No chromatic aberration, no motion blur, and that's about it. So I gotta restart the game now. So let's do so. So 4K high settings, RT off plus very medium weather. Since that's a big performance hit. Try turning DLAA off. Trust me, it doesn't look good without DLAA. I tried. It's shimmery AF with DLAA. Without DLAA. Even at 4K. I mean, it's a lot of pixels, but you can notice. I have the screen. It's a 28-inch 4K screen, which should have a big pixels per inch, but still you can notice. So I rather keep at least DLAA. DLAA at 4K looks pretty good. It has a lot of pixels to work with. So these are the settings. Let's see if we can get 60s. If not, well, we're going to try something else. Let's find out. And we might try DLAA. DLAA blows my mind. And as you can see, with an SSD, it loads like this. I mean, I'm already into the game again. What the hell? Okay. So 4K high settings, ray tracing off, medium weather. We're getting low 60s. Low to mid 60s, better said. But probably when I'm in a demanding part, it's going to drop below 60. Let's go into a tall building. Still, looks incredible at 4K. I only played this game on the PlayStation 4, on the base PS4. Never played it on PS4 Pro or PlayStation 5. I used to have a PS4, and man, this looks incredible at 4K. Yeah, mid-50s mostly when looking into the distance. So you might want to use DLSS for this one. Times Square is very demanding. I wish I knew where that was in real life so I can go there in the game. Oh, you know what, guys? I have a good place to test. It's on the Fisk Tower, the first time you go into it. For some reason that part is super demanding, maybe because there is a lot of reflective surfaces and effects because explosions. So yeah, that's probably a good idea. Also, trees close to the camera also drops frames. So yeah, anyway, let's go to the Fisk Tower for a quick test, then we start doing ray tracing. Because without ray tracing it's fine. I mean, 4K 60 is difficult. We're over 50 already. Yeah, here. This part for some reason is super demanding.
Hold him so he can't jump around.
Probably because of effects and reflective surfaces. So yeah, maybe 1800p is a better option in this case.
I can't reach him. You're gonna have a bad day. On to the next one.
Yeah, I think if I do 4K, it can be Ultra plus DLSS. Yeah, definitely. Let's try DLSS. With quality DLSS. This should give us, yeah, easily over 60. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the highest settings. But I'm going to keep DLSS on the highest. And I'm going to keep SSAO because HBAO plus for some reason here looks terrible in comparison to SSAO. Not sure what's up with that, honestly. Okay. I should restart the game, but I'm going to keep it like this just for time's sake. So this is 4K, very high. RT off, DLSS, quality. ¿Has tenido problemas con DLSS en Red Dead 2? No lo probé todavía, el Red Dead 2 con DLSS. This game loads really fast if you have an NVMe SSD. Well, I do have one. I'm being lazy. You're right. I'll just... Look at this. I quit out of the game. So I'm back into the desktop. I click on play. Now I click on play again. I have an SSD, so it should be pretty quick. I skip with circle the intro. I click on continue, and I'm back into the game. It's insanely quick. So yeah, I was just being lazy. You're right. I was easily able to restart the game. It took me 10 seconds. So now we're getting easily over 60 frames.
How exactly do you think this ends well for you?
So yeah. No, soy de Uruguay, pero estuviste cerca. Es como ser argentino pero no ser pobre. No, mentira, mentira. No te ofendas, por favor. Era un chiste, era un chiste. So yeah, guys, as you can see, with DLSS you can do over 60 frames all the time, basically, with the highest settings at 4K. But if you want to do 4K native, you can also do so, but it will be 50 to mid-60s. But I'd rather have a consistent 60s. I have a... which SSD do I have? Good question.
That server room before there's no
It's
evidence.
one moment. It's a Team Group. Whoa. It's a Team Group SSD. So not high end. It's a 256 gigs
See
SSD.
how there could be servers on this floor.
It's M.2, by the way. But it's nothing fancy.
If I go in this
It was
way,
pretty
destroy
cheap.
all the evidence. I should look for a sneaky way in. There
So
we
yeah.
go.
As you can see here in this level that for some reason is super demanding on my GPU. It's okay. Now let's swing around the city super quick before jumping into ray tracing, which is what kills performance the most.
Gotta get to work. Can't let Doc down.
Okay. Yeah, now it's easily over 60. No doubt about it. Would you look at that? So yeah, if you want 4K, I mean, this looks great. I don't know how they do it with FSR 2.0 and DLSS. When playing at 4K, if you put quality in any of them, it still looks like 4K. It's like playing on 1900p. I don't know how they did it. Maybe it's because of the amount of pixels he has to work with. But still. Porque sí, Infinity. Esa es la respuesta. Okay. Let me climb up. Climb up. There we go. Okay, what a weird pose. Okay, if I look at the city... Okay, I drop below 60 when looking at the entire city at once. But a little bit, I mean, I'm not fighting in this rooftop. So yeah. Yeah, this is probably the best way to play it on this card. Just enable DLSS at 4K, max it out, and you're good. La 2060 la tuve que vender, pero eso es otra cosa mía. Esta gráfica es la que uso para streamear en general. So yeah, just play at 4K with DLSS quality or 1440p with the highest settings and DLAA anti-aliasing. Which, if you have a 1440p screen, just use DLAA. Looks incredible. You get no shimmering whatsoever. It's kind of nuts. I love this game. I platinumed this game on PlayStation 4 with all the DLC, so I still don't get bored. I don't know how. So for the people that do not know, platinum a game on PlayStation 4 means that you get all the trophies. So yeah, I 100%ed this game a couple times. Anyway, so it's time to do ray tracing now. So let's start with that. So we get out of the game. This will be at 1080p first, and then we're going to check out what else we can do. So 1080p very high, plus ray tracing very high, DLSS off at the very beginning. Then we're going to, depending on what numbers we get, what we are going to lower though is the amount of objects being reflected. That's super important. So on 1080p, we're using TAA, and we put it on very high. In order to do so, you gotta manually increase some of these values for some reason. This tests on SSAO because HBAO Plus seems to be broken lately. And here on Ray Trace Reflections, you got the two options, high or very high. We're going to stay on very high for now. And then you got the object range, which I do not recommend going past 5. At least right now. On 10, you lose like 15 frames. This is the range of the objects to be reflected. So it calculates the distance of the object to the reflective surface and sees if that object is going to be reflected or not. So it's like a draw distance for reflective surfaces. I know, nuts. So we're going to do that. We keep it on 5. So we're doing that. So we're back on 1080p, good old 1080p. Do you think the 3050 is going to perform better than the 2060 6GB at 4K? Probably yes, if you crank up those textures. If you lower the textures, should be fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. 20 FPS incoming. Well, not quite. We're getting 60s without DLSS. Oh my god. Would you look at that? Let me see if ray tracing is enabled. Yep, it is. There I am, in all my reflected glory. Nice. Ray tracing without DLSS. I'm doing fine. What about you, man? The PC specs are in the description. Interesting. Although, as I said in a previous video when I tried ray tracing, it looks a little bit, how to say it, grainy. Not sure if it's because it's 1080p, but... No, Luis, ni de casualidad. Yo si hacía esto en la 3050 estaba tipo 40 FPS. Let's see if moving around changes anything. There's one building that kills performance with ray tracing, which is this one. This wavy building reflects reflections. That's wild. Still over 60. Not sure if you guys can see that, but it has some weird triple reflection thing. This building kills my frame rate on my 3050, which makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of reflections in there. Yeah, imagine ray tracing plus DLAA. Whoa, that would be insane. Yeah, there I am. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, you can do the the glass meme. Okay, it's not perfect 60. Has some drops into the 50s. And well, if I increase the amount of objects reflected, it's going to be kind of nuts. Let's see the Fisk building. The Fisk building has a lot of reflections everywhere. No tengo la GTX 30 Infinity, pero 720p con todo al mínimo, casi que llega a 30. Let's go back to the Fisk building. Why? Because it has a lot of reflective surfaces everywhere. Don't ask me why, it just does. As you can see here, Spider-Man is being reflected on the ground. The bad guys will be reflected, the walls are reflected.
How exactly do you think this
A lot of stuff is reflected. Whoops. Yeah, here, I'm dropping into the 50s. And I'm reflected on the ground, like this person right here. So as you can see, this is more demanding than outdoors, at least for now. Maybe at night, it's going to be kind of a nightmare. In this part, my 3070 crashed because of ray tracing. 3070, 8 GB of VRAM, right? Uno dice que en la 3070 le crasheaba esta parte con el ray tracing. ¿Cuánta memoria de video tiene la 3070? If your 3070 is crashing in this part with ray tracing on, it might have to do with VRAM. Consider lowering those textures. It's using almost 9 GB of VRAM. See, that's the reason why Nvidia puts 8 gigabytes on 3070, but on the 3060 it pulls 12. It's ridiculous. Well, this is why. VRAM is an issue when you enable ray tracing. Yeah, I would say it should be more demanding, but I think the reason why the Fisk building is worse is because it has glass over there, glass down here, and it's all reflective.
There could be servers on
I
this
can see my reflection there. I can see my reflection in this railing. I can see my feet. There's reflections on the ground because it's a very reflective floor. That's probably why it's more demanding than most of the city that I mentioned. There's a lot of reflective stuff very close together. This Spider-Man kills, yeah. Spider-Man doesn't murder anyone.
Going this way, they'll destroy
He just
all the evidence.
destroys their necks
I should look for a sneaky way.
and breaks every bone in their body. But with the funny quip at the end, it's not as bad as Batman.
It's like my own private venture.
Batman is bad because Batman is too serious.
Fisk may be a dirty criminal, but he has remarkably clean air vents.
Yeah, we speak 2 languages here, but English is the main one because, you know, international.
They're so cute when they're oblivious.
The resolution was 1440p, even worse then, uses more VRAM. Well, if the FPS cuts in half, that's a VRAM limitation.
Forgot my password.
Without a doubt. That gives me even more reason to think it's a VRAM limitation. This is 1080p, by the way. But on this card they have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, so as you can see it's already over 8 gigabytes.
My last job will root.
Oops, I almost died. Okay.
Gotta access that console before everything's gone.
There's screen tearing. Yeah, screen tearing. It doesn't matter which monitor I have in this case because the capture card, there's no capture card that supports FreeSync or G-Sync. So it's kind of a thing I cannot control, unfortunately. Yeah.
I'm already late. I should get to the lab.
Let's go continue a little bit with the story. Maybe I can find nighttime if I keep going with the story very quickly. I'm going to go there. But so far on 1080p, as you can see, you can get 50 to mid 60s with ray tracing on very high, which is pretty impressive. I was expecting to need the DLSS to do this, but apparently not.
Wait till they see this at work.
Pretty good.
Sorry, I'm usually web swinging.
Para que funcione el G-Sync, tener V-Sync. No, el V-Sync hay que apagarlo en esos casos. Yeah, and there are reflections behind me. Neat. Let's try 1440p now. Let's see the performance hit. So the performance hit at 1440p. Ooh, deep breath. So at 1080p we get 65, standing right here. At 1440p we get 45. Okay, not too bad. I was expecting much worse, honestly. So 1440p with the highest settings and ray tracing on and no DLSS, we get mid 40s. At least standing on the street. It's probably going to get worse as I move around. So let's give it another shot. I mean, it makes sense that it... How to say this? That it scales exponentially how the performance hits with the resolution on when I increase the resolution, because the ray tracing scales with the resolution, so it's even more demanding because the ray tracing has, well, more pixels to work with, more pixels to reflect. Mario, bájate MSI Afterburner. Alright, so yeah, as you can see guys, mid 40s, some drops into the 30s at 1440p with ray tracing on and no DLSS. So in this case I might try DLSS for 60 frames. Although let's try Fisk Tower once more. I know, I love that place. You wouldn't imagine what's in there. A lot of reflective surfaces. Yeah, it looks amazing, Matthias. Okay, here we are. Again, yeah, the reflections now look significantly better.
Hold him so he can't jump around.
Yeah, the resolution change is very noticeable. Okay, that VRAM usage though, yeah, we're over 8 gigabytes of VRAM. But yeah, the ray tracing does that.
Regret your life choices yet? Get these webs off me!
There we go. Pin to the wall. It's absolutely dead.
Gotta find that server room before there's no
Is it the highest ray tracing option? Yes and no. I mean, we're in very high ray tracing, but there is an option to increase the amount of objects being reflected,
If I go in this way, they'll destroy
which
all
is
the
10. We're on 5. So it's kind of 50% with very high resolution ray tracing. So the highest resolution ray tracing, but the amount of objects being reflected is lower.
I should look for a sneaky way in.
Because if I do 10, it'll kill the performance. It's kind of, I don't know, and I don't notice much of a difference, honestly, with 10.
There we go.
Okay, just a 1660 Ti. I don't have it, sorry. I used to, but consider it similar to my 1650 Super, like 10 frames ahead. I have a video in the description if you want to check that out. Add 10 frames to that, and it should be similar. It's just an estimation, of course.
Huh. It's like my own private ventrance.
Okay. Let's go back to the city. One thing that I wanted to check out, I think lowering the resolution of the reflections didn't do much. Let me see if I pause the game and I go to graphics. Okay, so 39 while looking here. If I lower the reflection resolution, it goes from 39 to 61. What? Okay. That can't be real. Okay, that's kind of nuts. What the hell? I'm not complaining, by the way. That's insane. Let's try geometry detail on the reflection. It goes from 60 to 80. What? No, oh, okay. That scared me. Jesus Christ. Don't do that, game. Okay, so maybe high ray tracing helps us at 1440p. Interesting. Let's restart the game just to make sure. That's nuts. I wasn't expecting that. When I traded on the 3050, it didn't matter if it was high or very high ray tracing. This game is very GPU intensive. It's weird coming from a PlayStation 4. Well, remember that this is a PlayStation 5 port. The PlayStation 4 has lower quality assets, and it also has different textures and less reflective surfaces. So keep that in mind. Yeah, the VRAM usage was sky high. Okay. Okay, nice. Mid 50s. So if you put 1440p and high ray tracing instead of very high, you can actually play at 60 with some drops into the 50s. So if you want to use a very high ray tracing, do it on 1080p. Definitely. And it still looks very good. I still have the reflections. Although they're a little bit more pixelated, but honestly, why bother? It's still a great reflection. Edison, es un i5 10100F. O 10400F, pardon. Guys, all the specs are down in the description. I'm using an i5 10400F. 6 cores, 12 threads. Yeah, I'm testing the 570 later today.
If I go in this way, they'll
That's
destroy all the
insane.
evidence.
I cannot believe the difference. That's nuts. The only AMD card I have is the 570, unfortunately. So yeah, that's the only option I have.
Gotta get to work.
Okay, open world.
Dock down.
I mean, if in Fisk building was like that, in the open world should be okay. At least in these areas. Yeah, there I am, reflected.
You okay?
Yeah, these windows also reflect me. Give me 1 second, my phone is ringing. Oh, never mind. Okay. PS5 utilizes its SSD very well to decompress. Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe that has to do with it. Will be a good way to use the hardware. Cannot wait for direct storage on PC. That would be an interesting feature. Hello, Spider-Man. Okay, I want to try nighttime, so I'm going to go to the next mission objective super quickly. Ultra ray tracing uses native reflections, while high ray tracing is using half resolution. Okay, thanks Ned. I appreciate that. Makes sense. So I was using 1440p reflections. That's nuts. So now the resolution of the reflections is like 720p then. Interesting. Still, the reflections look pretty good. Even on high. That is probably what the PS5 uses on the performance ray tracing mode. Also, what's the PS5 on performance ray tracing? I forgot. What resolution? I think it was 1440p, so we might be using the PlayStation 5 settings. Let me check super quick. PS5, Spider-Man,
I'm sorry, I'm late.
bits. So PlayStation 5. Okay.
You started without me.
PlayStation 5 is... what is it? Okay,
It's
PlayStation
fine,
5
Parker.
fidelity
I
mode
invented this
without ray
equipment. I think I
tracing
can
is
handle it.
4K 30. Oh, never mind. It's 4K with ray tracing at 30 frames per second. Ray tracing performance mode is dynamic 1440p at 60 frames with
Man.
IGTI and ray tracing. Okay,
Maybe
so
we
we're
should
close to the
warn-
PS5 version.
Not yet.
Interesting. It's dynamic 1440p at 60 frames with ray tracing. Cool.
Hold on.
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 uses IGTI, is Insomnia Games temporal injection.
okay?
We have the option here, but FSR and DLSS look a lot better, so I wouldn't bother, really. So yeah, we're using the PlayStation 5 settings.
That was a disaster.
Interesting.
How could the dampener have failed? I know Doc said take the day
Looks
off.
amazing. I still cannot believe we have this on PC. Well, it was until a few days ago the PS4 can output 1440p. What? You mean PS4 Pro?
You are in bad shape, little guy.
Oh, Doc, what are you using this arm for?
Let's see what's wrong with you.
Oh, you mean PlayStation 5? Okay. Oh, of course. Yeah, the PlayStation 5 now has a 1440p option. In... what's the name of this? In its menu. Finally. I'm going to skip all these
Circuit
minigames.
burned out. Damn it. Got it.
What's that robot for? I don't want to know.
Okay, need to
Dr.
reload
Octopus,
this.
what are you doing?
Nice. Okay,
What are you
next?
doing? Step Dr. Octopus.
And now rebalance the voltage. Finished.
Yeah, I balance the voltage and I move around the chipset and the SoC and I plug in 5.5 volts,
Let's see if that
2.5
worked.
electron volts. DLSS looks bad in this game. I tried it above 1080p, looks good. After that, yeah.
Good as new.
Oh yeah. Now I can do it in so many positions.
Doc's been testing new materials.
You're welcome,
for the
Doc.
prosthetics. He asked me to review his work if I had time.
Yeah,
May as
let's
well
go
dig in
outside,
now.
please. Hopefully it's nighttime.
Doc
Yeah,
was
these
testing a
are
new
great.
contact material for
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
prosthetic.
Oh man, don't do this to me. Okay, I'll do it. Skip. Ha! You thought I was going to do it? No. I already showed the menu. Hang on a minute, man.
Hydrogel polymer composite.
No need to shout.
Strong, but there's a lot of impedance. Better tell Doc to keep looking for other materials.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go back being Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Give me that ARM prototype. I need it.
Spider-Man, it's Yuri.
Yeah, I probably need. Let me put the PS5 settings. The PS5 settings is basically dynamic 1440p according to a video I saw, plus performance ray tracing, which would be high because there's also very high. There's only two options. So the one the PS5 uses is IGTI, Insomnia Games technical temporal injection. So I'm going to put this on ultra quality, and I put dynamic resolution scale into 60. So this will be dynamic 1440p. So let's call it that. Dynamic 1440p. Very high settings, plus ray tracing high and no DLSS. So this will be the PS5 settings, I think. I'm not sure about the other options. So as you can see now, I can play at 60. Some drops below 60 though, not sure why. My GPU is not being fully utilized. So yeah, something, they need to fix some stuff about the way the GPU is being utilized when using dynamic resolution, because it looks super blocky now. So yeah, these are not PS5 settings. Still, at least I tried.
Huh. Looks like Jameson's got a new episode out. Wonder what my #1 fan thinks about the Fisk takedown.
Yeah, it drops GPU usage.
This is just a facts with
So yeah, it's lowering the resolution a little bit too much. Not sure what's going on with that. Anyway. But those will be the PS5 settings. You already tested 1050 Ti? Yes. Swinging feels good on the PC? Hell yeah. Especially with a controller. You can also use mouse and keyboard, which I'm not used to. But it's nice to have a lot of options that are just for the two buttons on the controller. It can be a single button on the PC. So for example, web zipping to displays is L2 and R2. On PC will be just the C key. So you press C and you go there. Yeah, when I'm moving too fast actually, I'm not fully utilizing the GPU. Maybe the ray tracing, when I'm moving so fast. Oh, okay, Digital Foundry Spider-Man video has PS5 settings at minute 21. Gotcha. Might check it out later. But still. Well, the thing that you can do actually to get more frames, in this case, because we're dropping below 60, a little bit below 60, is going into the weather settings and putting it to medium. Like, go to weather particles and put it on medium. That gave me like 10 frames more in my other GPUs.
Of course not. It got on TV. That's what counts.
Plus medium weather. Doing this actually gave me more frames on the other GPUs. Seems to affect volumetric clouds and stuff like that. Yeah, this maintains me over 60 now.
I'm gonna get you to say something nice about me.
So yeah, maybe this is a good idea, like this. And then the other thing the PlayStation 5 has is the ray tracing quality mode, fidelity mode, sorry, that is 4K, 30 frames, and ray tracing, which is what I'm going to try after this. It's going to be interesting. Let me save my progress though, before I forget what I'm doing. Time to do 4K. I knew Santiago watches Digital Foundry. Yeah, I mean, Digital Foundry is one of the reasons I started doing PC stuff. Digital Foundry, Total Biscuit, who else? There's probably more, but yeah, one of the main inspirations was Digital Foundry, without a doubt. Okay, 4K. And what I'm going to do now is put it on high, basically. because I'm going to try ray tracing. We tried it without ray tracing already, and it was okay. Weather particle quality on medium, and we're going to keep the ray tracing on high. Let's see if we can get 30s like this. So this is 4K high. Ray tracing high, DLSS off, and medium weather. And that should do. But keep in mind, even at 1440p I was not using DLSS. So that's nuts. That GPU isn't even for 1440p, you'll kill it. I did 4K even on a 3050, so hell yeah, I'm doing it. Bet your ass I'm doing it.
Wonder what Yuri wanted to talk about.
Okay, so 4K, high settings, ray tracing on high, medium weather, no DLSS.
Like
And we're getting over 30 just fine.
Wonder what my #1 fan thinks
Hell
about
yeah.
the Fisk takedown.
Fidelity mode on PS5 can drop to 1540p. It's not native. Okay, gotcha. So I'm playing... They're probably using a very high ray tracing on the Fidelity mode.
Hey, plug the book.
And as always, if you order Mr. Jameson's book, Spider-Man, Threat or Menace.
Here I'm on native 4K. So probably if I put ray tracing on the highest, it's probably going to die. But let's try it anyway. We're here to experiment.
Broadcast, you'll get an autographed copy.
Come on,
and
load
no extra
reflections.
No personalizations. Don't ask. Not gonna get it.
Yep, there we go. At 4K with the highest ray tracing settings,
Alerting you to the
you drop into the 20s. So it makes sense that the PlayStation 5 needs to lower resolution to 15 something p. It's super demanding with ray tracing on very high. It's native resolution.
Tell me, are you a police officer?
Very high is only exclusive to PC. Oh, interesting. Cool. I didn't know that. So PlayStation 5 is using high reflections and high geometry for ray tracing. That's weird.
Maybe an award-winning
But as you can see, it runs a lot better like that.
No.
So native 4K with high ray tracing and medium weather,
Let me explain something to you about
you're pretty good.
Soon as one goes
You're
down
pretty
to make
good.
A gun, a tracksuit, and a drawer full of gold chains, decides he's the next godfather. We're gonna have a gang war on the street, but does that whip-headed moron...
But let's do the stress test. The stress test is going to Fisk Tower that everything is reflected. Everything. Everything. Okay, gotcha. Ray tracing on the PC is higher tier. Okay, not so bad. Still 30 frames, still being reflected.
Hold him so he can't jump around. How exactly do you think this ends well?
Yeah, as you can see, even the wall is reflecting. That's insane. I cannot believe the amount of reflective surfaces that has. I mean, considering I'm still not using DLSS.
On to the next one.
This is going to be smooth on RTX 2060 plus Ryzen 5 3600s.
Regret your life
Yes,
choices yet?
but make sure that you lower those textures, especially if you're planning on using ray tracing, because it uses a lot of VRAM. Other than that, you should be fine. And well, you also have DLSS available.
Gotta find that server room before there's no evidence left.
So yeah, in one of the most reflective places, you're getting 30 frames at native 4K.
If I go in this way, they'll destroy all the evidence.
No muchas. Shapus, mejor no preguntes. No preguntes.
There we go.
Yeah, it's using like 10 gigs of VRAM, but it's 4K with ray tracing, so kinda makes sense.
Fisk may be a dirty criminal, but he has
How comparable will this be to a 2060 Super? Not entirely sure, really. Shouldn't be that far off.
They're so cute when they're oblivious.
Halfway there. Need another minute or two.
Sabelo, Shapus.
Don't worry about out there.
Is this tech support? I forgot my password.
I forgot my password.
Don't let him near the console.
That's a good meme. Don't let him near the console. Yeah, I'm on a PC. Kinda makes
I
sense.
thought the IT guys at my last job
That
were
would be a nice meme. For the console people. Don't let him near the console. Sony executives. Don't let him near the console.
console before
Or
everything's
releasing
gone.
Spider-Man on PC. Yeah, it's a lot of VRAM with the 3080. The 3080, how much VRAM does it have? I know that the 3070 has 8 gigabytes, which is a scam. Considering that the 3060 has 12 gigabytes.
What have you ever done, maddened?
I don't know why this room is so demanding. On all my computers, on my graphics cards, this room in particular kills my frame rate. Once I finish this room, it's fine again.
Your fault.
I don't know what's up with this room, really.
Almost sad to see it
The
end.
room of death.
Mere prayer.
It had to be a server room.
We'll get ready for the main event.
Yeah, it's 10. Oh, 10 gigabytes. I thought it had 12, like the 1080 Ti. Nvidia's so... They're assholes. They should give 12 gigabytes to the 3080 people. Well, they have a 3080 12 gigs,
Sitting in a bomb field.
but the base model has 10. I'm so confused. Such a scam. Well, 16 will be a nice number, actually, considering the higher resolutions with ray tracing. But hey, who knows?
I think that's all of them.
So yeah.
It's clear. Move up.
Ready or not?
Hey guys, I guess bombs are part of Willie's getaway plan.
Yeah, Nvidia knows what they're doing, yeah, of course.
Go after them.
I mean,
look for the bombs.
why would they put 12 gigabytes on a 3060 and 8 gigabytes on a 3070? So the 3070 dies quicker because of low VRAM.
Evacuate the building.
It's 4 gigabytes, it's a lot of VRAM. I mean, 8 gigabytes versus 12, you might say, oh, it's only 4 gigabytes, it's a lot of VRAM. Well, if you use ray tracing, as you can see, you can get 9 gigabytes of usage, which falls right in between the 3070 versus the 3060 in VRAM amount. It's no coincidence.
We're pinned down.
I'll lift it.
I don't know why the laptop 3080 got 16 gigabytes though. That's a good question. Will this run at 60 on my 2060 Super RTX High? On 1080p? Yeah, sure. Shouldn't be a problem.
Thank you. He did it. Let's go.
Okay, Willie, coming your way.
Spider-Man, it's Yuri.
How we doing, Captain?
Could be better. Our chopper's
Let's see how
we just
Fisk's
had to ground our last
Fisk
one.
Fisk
Fisk calls in a chopper. We have
looks
no one to
at
stop it from
RTX
landing.
on and
And no one to
4K.
chase him if he flies away.
Also, I might try DLSS. I haven't tried DLSS yet at 4K. What the hell? I mean, with ray tracing.
Damn.
There I am.
Get EMTs up here
Reflected.
fast.
See, this is what I was talking about. Look at the amount of reflections there are here. That's insane. Yeah, here in this part, I'm reflected in the glass, in the floor. And the game's still running without DLSS at 4K. How did they do it? Let's try DLSS now, because I gotta do it sometimes. Okay, so now we got DLSS quality. And we're getting mid-50s. That's a huge boost. I might do balance or performance to get 60. Let's try that. Let's see. Balanced, we go from 54 to 62. And if I go for performance, it's 69. Balance 62. Okay, maybe balanced. Yeah, still drops. Whoa. Yeah, DLSS. The performance difference with DLSS is kind of insane. We jump from mid 30s to low 50s.
enough out of you.
It's there. Let me reload the part we were playing a second ago that was super demanding. But I didn't think it was going to be such a big performance difference, but I forget how many pixels. There's a lot of pixels at 4K. Let's leave it at that. Yeah, here it was in the mid-30s when looking this way.
Can't jump around. How exactly do you think this ends well for you?
Boss wants your head.
So yeah, balance is not native 4K, of course. But it's a huge improvement. You can basically do
On to the next one.
ray tracing. Even if you want native 4K with ray tracing, you can do it. And if you use DLSS, don't mind the little extra blurriness, you're good to go. Die. Spider-Man doesn't kill anyone. He just webs them to the wall. That's how they fix the issue. There we go. To the wall.
Gotta find that server room before there's no evidence left.
RTX applied in real life? Yeah. Oh, I'm ray traced. Oh my god. Let's go to the open world again. How much would a 3060 mobile platform perform compared to the desktop? Not sure. Really depends on the brand of the laptop and how much clock speed they put on that 3060. So I do not know for sure. It really depends. Okay, let's see if we can find nighttime. This is probably the tutorial to do the control towers thing. So we're going to skip it.
Let's take a look at this.
The lighting in my house is ray traced. Hell yeah. Hell yeah it is.
Input bands have been shifted. Subtle.
Guys, I'm so blown away. I can skip. Good. I can just press a button and hack everything. So, okay. Wow. The only thing that disappoints me about this game is that it's very hard to get 100 FPS. If you have the GPU power to do so, you need a super fast CPU.
So you know,
I have a Ryzen 9 on my main PC that is doing this live stream. I'm going to try it on that
there's a break-in happening.
later on my free time.
I've got units nearby.
Don't bother.
But still,
I'm on
that
it.
this 6-core 12-thread CPU cannot get 100 FPS, man, it's going to be difficult. Although 60 frames for a game like this is fine. Usually I use 100 FPS for shooters. This one, I mean, I played Batman at 120 FPS and I didn't notice much of a difference. It was smoother, yeah, but on the game itself, yeah, it's just a visual thing. My mirror at home has RTX on. Whoa! Oh my god, it's an Ultra! But still, I'm blown away. Even without DLSS, you can actually play this at 4K with ray tracing. Con los ajustes de ahora, pero en la 1080 no te va a 100. En 1080, ah, sí, por supuesto, pero la GPU no queda al 100%. Es porque estamos limitados por CPU. For the people wondering, yeah, we tried these settings on 1080p and the GPU usage was like 70%. So I got to 100 FPS sometimes, but the CPU was holding us back, basically. Am I dreaming? How is this running at 60 plus at 4K? Well, right now I'm using DLSS. That's the magic. But if I do not use DLSS, I get like 35 FPS. So, yeah. DLSS is a magic sauce for 60 frames in this case. But if you don't want to use DLSS, you can do 1440p. And it's still 60 frames with this setting. So, if you want to use ray tracing, it's not difficult, really.
Leave me alone!
Keep it quiet, lady.
Don't touch me!
Get away from her.
Get away from her! Oh, I forgot about the brutes. I am brute. Oh, I hate the big ones. That's what she said. I miss having all my powers like I had on the PlayStation 4. There we go. Uh-oh. There you go. He dropped dead. Why not DLSS performance? Because it's less pixels and balance looks okay.
Let me go!
It's okay, kill her. I don't mind. I don't know who she is. Let's see what happens if I don't do anything. Ooh. Okay, he actually kills her. I didn't know that. No! I thought nothing was going to happen.
Walk away now, or she's dead.
Let me go!
Okay, that's surprising. It was that easy.
All clear, ma'am.
I knew Jameson was wrong about
DLSS plus
You're a little
DLAA,
weird, but
unfortunately,
you
it
gotta
doesn't
go
allow us to do both.
Have you got
I mean, if
somewhere
you're
to
using
go?
DLAA, it's
can
doing a
take care of
higher
myself.
resolution,
I'm
basically.
sure you can, but just in case, there's a
Sí, yo
place
también,
called
Mario.
Feast Center.
Me sorprendí, la verdad.
I
Yeah,
don't
guys,
watch
I'm super
Got the
surprised
best
on how the
weekends
game
in the
runs,
city, hands
especially
down.
with ray tracing.
Mom used to make
Kinda
those.
nuts.
Haven't
Although
had
the
any.
VRAM usage is insanely high, but that was to be expected.
Should be able to
from ray
spot the next
tracing.
tower from up there.
Okay, so I did my high-end testing. I have to do my budget GPUs again. So this been nice, but we gotta do the 750 Ti, then the 2-core 4-thread CPU test with the 1050 Ti, and then I'm going to do the 570. So I'm going to do three more live streams today. Is it stuttering at all? So far so good. There are some stutters, but otherwise, I mean, at the very beginning. After that it was okay. I mean, look at this, I'm going to swing super quickly, which usually limits the CPU when using ray tracing. As you can see there, if you swing super fast, or try to be fast, with the ray tracing the CPU suffers quite a bit. It's using one core at like 90%. But I think that's pretty minor, it drops into the 50s when doing that. And it's not the GPU, it's the CPU. You're excited for the 750 Ti test? Me too. It's going to be interesting. I don't even know if it runs, really. Yeah, resting pepperoni is 2 cores and 4 threads.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to call it the minimum requirements PC, because it's kinda similar.
Thought he was a loose cannon.
Already regretting this.
Okay. Let me finish this mission and we do the next live stream. Give me a moment that I have to change the hour for the next live stream. So the next live stream is the 750 Ti, which I'm guessing is not going to last super long. So that's fine. That's okay. I'm going to put it public. Yeah, public. So I can start with that one after this mission. Mission. Spider Cop. Okay. So the next video will be the 750 Ti. Okay. So the next one is the 750 Ti. Wish me luck. It's going to be a separate live stream, but still. What time is it? Oh, just in time. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to do this super quick. Let's finish this mission. As you can see, the issues when going very fast with ray tracing on. With this CPU, it kind of wreaks havoc. Recién me levanté. Ah, bueno, Radeon Benchmarks, todo bien. I don't think I'm going to continue streaming until maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. Yeah, those words didn't age well. I mean, I like this game so much that I want to do like 5 hours of live streams. I'm super tired, but I'm going to keep going. I mean, 2 of those live streams are not going to be super long, so that's fine. I don't mind. But I'm super impressed with how it runs on the 3060, really. Mind-blowing.
I can modify these.
I can
towers
just
to track
skip
movement.
this and boom, I hacked everything. Whoa. Quality DLSS. Well, when you do quality DLSS, you're going to get drops into the 50s. So if you don't mind that, do
Towers are
quality.
picking up all kinds of RFID signals now, including one nearby. What is that?
Yeah, no. This doesn't end the mission yet. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so guys, that's it for now on the 3060. I'm going to, well, this video is going to be published. So if you want to rewind, see anything, it'll be there. So see you in a few moments on the 750 Ti live stream. That one is probably not going to be super long, but hey, here we are. We're giving it a shot. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. Thanks for watching. Happy Spider-Manning around. Love you all. Thank you guys.